Hi, in this video tutorial, we'll be looking at how to use VDMX to create a classic zooming feedback look using green screen or blue screen footage. To begin, I'm just going to start with a new project, and I'm going to load in some clips. And you'll see here I've just got a blue screen footage clip, and I've got another clip that has some alpha channels that we'll use later. So I'm going to click my Fishman clip, and you'll see there's got some blue screen. So the first thing we need to do is get rid of the blue screen and replace that with some alpha channel. So I'm going to go into my layer effects section here. Under masking, I'm going to choose chroma mask. Now here I can click sample, click on the output. And in this particular case, it might be a little bit useful just to use the hard cutoff option, but you can tweak some of these settings here as needed with your own footage. And this will also work on live footage if you're using a blue screen or a green screen as well. The next thing we're going to do is add the zooming feedback effect, which is under retro. So there are a few ways you can go about building this effect manually in VDMX, but for now we're just going to use the effect version. So here you can set a default offset for where your image appears. If we set that back into the middle, we get something like this. And now we can set where the center is and where our shift is. So here we go, we've got our shift kind of in the middle now with a little bit of shift, and we have this kind of an effect. One of the cool things about VDMX is that we're working with alpha channel. So if you're working with footage that just has a black background and you aren't doing the chroma mask or anything like that, you can use the maximum blend mode, which is the default here, and that'll give you this kind of a look. But since we're working with alpha channels, we can use the over alpha option. And now you'll see that the image appears completely behind here. And if we were to set our feedback level to 100, it'll look something like this. And we can adjust our zoom so things look like this. You can kind of get a nice variety of things out of this. There's a rotation option, so you can get a little bit of a rotate thing going on. One of the looks that I like is to set it something like this. And if you set the zoom level to never fade out, you can get something like that. All kinds of neat stuff that you can work on. Additionally, you'll see that there's some options down here that'll work with the feedback loop itself. So you can have it invert in between each stage, or you can have it do a little bit of a color shift, or adjust the saturation so that things become more grayscale as they go out, or more saturated. And you can use any of these in combination with each other. Another really fun one is instead of over alpha, you can switch to under alpha, and now we'll get things like this, where the new image is being placed in front of the old one. And this is something that wouldn't have been able to really work in the past, but you can get some really cool stuff out of it, like this. And of course, since this is alpha channels, if we were to add another layer behind this, set our blend mode to OpenGL over, and our layer underneath, let's say, is just something like this lovely cloudscape ISF that we found. So it appears over instead of blending on top, blending with the image below it. So that's the very basics of doing the zooming feedback. As I mentioned, I was going to load in this other clip and trigger that. So if we have that going, here I'll bring up a preview window so you can see what that clip looks like originally. You can use the preview to look at things before or after. So here we have this flowers clip. Let's just switch this back to over alpha. There we go, so now we can see it. And now as that goes out, we get this lovely image. And since this clip itself has alpha channels, we actually don't need the chroma mask in this case. It'll just kind of go out from there like this. So that's the very basics of doing a zooming feedback style effect using the zooming feedback effect. Hope you enjoyed watching.